Hello, people. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. It is Monday, the 6th of February. Nice. April. And tomorrow, Champions League. Arsenal versus Sporting Lisbon away in Lisbon. Judgment Day. Another Judgment Day for Arsenal, another Judgment Day for Mikel Arteta, for the players, and every single one included. Because, again, we have played 2 games and we are out of 2 cups. One was a final. Now we are again on the verge of being out of third competition if we don't perform, if we don't put in good performances, and if we don't do well, especially looking at the situation with the injuries, looking at the situation with the the players that are unavailable, available, and everything. It's definitely not looking great. Definitely it's not looking great. So definitely we're going to talk about all that. We're going to discuss bits and bobs here or there. So people, smash the like, subscribe if you're new, and of course leave your thoughts in the live chat about the game. What do you expect? What we will most likely see? What are your expectations from the season that's going to happen? And all that good stuff, of course. Big up Kwaja, big up. Hope you're doing well today. Big up, good evening, people. As he says, smash the likes. Let's see. 2-1. I see Sporting too good. Yeah, Sporting at home definitely are a formidable foe at home. If I'm not mistaken, wait, let me check this because hang on. Because I was checking and looking at this, and it's definitely not a flattering sight. Let's just put it that way. Because if we look, and I kid you not, if we look at Liga NOS, Portuguese league table specifically, right? If we look at that table specifically, serious talk, Sporting Lisbon have lost only 1 game the whole season in Portuguese league. And that game was, well, against Porto, who are on the top of the table. Yes, Sporting Lisbon have lost only 1 game in the league this whole season. 21 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss. Have scored hell of more goals than Arsenal. And wait, let's actually compare this, because this is actually going to be quite nice watch. Because look, if you look at Sporting Lisbon, 21 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss. 72 goals scored, 17 conceded. Meanwhile, Arsenal have scored 61 goals, so 11 less, and they have conceded 5 more. Granted, they have played more games. So you would expect that if you compare that to Sporting Lisbon, they would score more goals, maybe concede a bit more as well. And even if you look in Champions League, the Sporting Lisbon matches, right? Even if you look at the matches, right, in Champions League for Sporting Lisbon, now let's look here. They beat Bodo Glimt at home. We are talking about the home game specifically. 5-0. That was a nuts game, I'm not gonna lie. Moving on, where is more Champions League? Because there are lots of games. That was away. They beat PSG at home 2-1 in January. Yes, Sporting Lisbon at home beat PSG 2-1. Yes, PSG didn't have Vitinha and Kvaratskhelia, but that does not matter. Let's be real, people. Now, where were we? Now, let's look a bit more. Champions League. At home, they beat Club Brugge 3-0. Away in Juventus. At home, they beat Marseille 2-1 at home, by the way. Away, they lost. And then the only loss they have suffered is at home against Porto, and that was in August. Sporting Lisbon have lost 1 game this whole goddamn season, and that was in August. They are unbeaten ever since. So for everyone and anyone who is expecting an easy game, light work, wake up and smell the coffee. Sporting Lisbon at home are a tough opponent. They're going to grind. They have the blueprint how to play against Arsenal based on how City played, based on how Southampton played. How they're going to play is going to be, they're going to press a bit. They're going to play a semi-high line, and they're going to keep the ball on the ground. And we all know as soon as Arsenal face an opponent that keeps the ball on the ground specifically. I'm sorry, my camera went out of focus a bit. Keep the ball on the ground specifically. Do quick passing, left, right, and center, quick 1-2s and triangles. Arsenal fall. Arsenal crumble. And that could be another instance tomorrow. Big up Mubarak. I can see only double boost injuries of Rice and Trossard. What about Timber, Gabriel, and Saka? We're going to talk about that as well in a split second. Let's just put it that way. Big up Hyper Protagonist. Hope you're doing well. Madueke is playing and as Saka is done, most likely. Or Max Dauman was going to start. Who knows? Who knows? Did you see the training? Balancing a pen on juggling the ball. Yeah. Our players were holding their balls with their heads. Sounds a bit zesty, but hey, I saw that and it wasn't absolutely funny at all. That was embarrassing. Yeah, that training video was absolutely insane. We are entering the final stages on the season. Meanwhile, our players are juggling their balls. Seriously, no one just... Big up Cooper. Big up Cooper. I can't stay. Great stream. Big up to you. Big up to you. Big up to you. Thank you for the kind words. I'm trying to do my due diligence, spreading the word. Hopefully people are here to listen as well. And yeah, listen to Cooper, people. Smash the likes and subscribe, of course. Now, there were questions about injuries, right? Players who are gonna play, who are not gonna play, and all this stuff. Here is one of them. Today, there was open training. Now, that open training is a bit of a different one because open training is for 10-15 minutes, then they shut the doors, and there's a big possibility some of the injured players are going out of the cameras because this could also just be a show for the cameras, and some players who are supposed to be injured are coming out because they are injury free. But Gabriel was in the training today. Obviously it looks like he's getting a tan here, right? But he was in the training today, so that begs the question, how serious was that injury? Is he really injured? Or is he rushed back? Which, I'm not gonna lie, I would not put past Mikel Arteta because it has happened once, twice, thrice, more and more. It would not be the first time. Gabriel Magalhaes was pictured in the training. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. Apparently today in the training, at least in the open training, right? Trossard was there. Gabriel Magalhaes was there, and Declan Rice was there. There was no Saka, no Eberechi Eze, no Hincapié, and no Jurrien Timber, which already, for me personally, is spelling massive, and I mean massive trouble for Arsenal. Yes, Declan Rice, it looks like he could be playing tomorrow, potentially, because without Declan Rice, our midfield is pretty much championship level, what it feels like, right? Best case scenario, mid-table in Premier League, right? So if Declan Rice plays, again, Tuchel said that Declan Rice is carrying an injury and he's been playing through it. Would not be surprised if he plays despite that. Like, seriously, wouldn't put it past Arteta. Gabriel as well and Trossard. Now, there was no Saka, which means it's going to be either Noni Madueke or Max Dauman on the right wing for Arsenal tomorrow. Question is who? What will Arteta decide? That, at the end of the day, is one of the biggest questions. Still no Eberechi Eze as expected. Eberechi Eze is expected to be out for 2-3 more weeks. And that means Odegaard, most likely, is going to be in the 10 tomorrow. So count your blessings, people. Genuinely count your blessings tomorrow. No Hincapié, which means what could be one of the biggest reasons why Gabriel Magalhaes was pictured in the training. Because if we don't have Gabriel Magalhaes and Hincapié, most likely we are looking at the back line of Saliba Mosquera, Saliba Calafiori, or someone like that type of a duo. And of course, still no Jurrien Timber, which more or less could confirm that tomorrow in the starting 11, most likely we are going to see Benny Blanco once again. And when I look at that Sporting team, Benny Blanco versus Pedro Gonçalves, against Trincao, against Luis Suarez, I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried. I'm scared. At the moment, based on the last 2 games, I don't have much faith in this team. I'm sorry if you feel the different way, but this is how I feel. If this offends you to some way or the other, there's a red X on the top right of the screen. You can click off the stream. Serious talk. Seriously. But yeah, Definitely. It's not looking too great, but it could be looking great. So we will not know until that all happens. Obviously, Mikel Arteta's press conference as well hasn't happened because the players are just arriving in Lisbon. They just flew out a few hours ago. So I would expect Mikel Arteta's press conference to be out in about a few hours, best case scenario. Although it looks like Arteta at the moment is speaking potentially to the media. When Mikel Arteta got asked, and this is according to Tiki Connor, basically. We're going to look at this, and that is from I am Alex Howell. Let's just put it that way. What Mikel Arteta said about the injured players. And not sure how to feel. Big up, Gavin. Big up, Gavin. Hope you're doing well. This is what Mikel Arteta had to say on Team News for tomorrow's game against Sporting Lisbon. Is Gabriel Magalhaes fit? Arteta has said that he is. Same goes with Declan Rice, and kind of goes also with Leandro Trossard. Regarding the rest of the players like Bukayo Saka, Yuri and Timber, they're having trouble. Shocking display of things. They're not ready yet. Let's see. Hopefully, we're going to be ready for the weekend if everything goes well. So basically, these players, by the looks of things, no Timber and no Saka for the Sporting Lisbon game. Best case scenario for Arsenal and for Mikel Arteta, it looks like they could be back for the Bournemouth game during the weekend. And as much as it pains me to see Arsenal drop points, lose, I want Arteta gone, we need these players in the team. We just need. It's a must-have because those are the main players. They're always able to do something unique, something special, maybe win us the game. At the end of the day, we need players. We need rotation. We need somebody to rotate with. Obviously, with the world-class depth and injuries, that doesn't stick together because if we have world-class depth, injuries cannot be an excuse, as the narratives from Top Gooners, some other big, very big YouTube accounts are pushing that are not Arsenal fans. So we'll see how that goes. And speaking of Saka and Timber, Arteta also said that that's a massive boost because in recent days, we lost so many important players. The thing is, you cannot use this type of an excuse that you have lost so many players and that's a big tragedy and everything. When you have spent over $1 billion, you have done everything you have ever wanted for this club. And right now you are complaining about injuries. You have the depth, utilize it. Unless you don't believe in this depth and you think it's not good enough. Let's be real. And that's something that just sounds like Mikel Arteta that we need to change immediately. We'll see. We're definitely going to see how this is going to go and how that is going to affect everything. So let's see what else Mikel Arteta has said. And that is going to be very interesting because this is actually kind of touching on the Southampton game, on the Southampton loss. It's going to be very interesting to see what Arteta does because at this stage, talk is cheap. Let's be real. Talk is cheap. No matter how you look at it, the talk is cheap. Do your talking on the pitch or, well, get out. Let's be real. Win or get out. No goddamn excuses. Arteta on the defeat against Southampton. Well, have some perspective. How difficult it is what we've done up to now. Feel the pain, feel that emotion, and use it to be better and to improve. The thing is, Arteta has said this word per word pretty much every single time we lose a big game for the last 3-4 years. So how much pain do you need to suffer to improve? Because we have gone, based on playstyle at least, gradually worse. That is for me the big question. So we're very clear in what happened, the reasons why it happened, watching the game two times. Just 2 times. It took you only 2 times to realize the issues. Well, goddamn, then you have everything figured out. You should have no problems winning the league and Champions League from now on. We didn't deserve to lose that match. Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that one, Chief. But this is football and we get punished for things that are related to our identity. Well, you installed it into the team, so that's you issue, not our issue. That's the thing that we need to defend. in the strongest possible way, because that's the reason that we are where we are today. And for me personally, the reason where we are, why we are, and all this stuff Arteta is trying to basically waffle about, push the narratives and everything, mostly is because this team, the way Arteta has styled it, built it, by signing players, by adjusting the tactics, changing the system, and all this stuff, is basically for defense to hold everyone out in hopes that we nick a goal or two, and that is enough for us to win games. And that's how we have been playing for about 95% of the season at the end of the day. Our defense is holding us into the games with hopes that from set pieces, maybe some open play, random bounces, some own goals, some stroke of luck basically turns their favorable side towards our direction, and in the end, we win. That's how it has gone this season, unfortunately, because there is no other way that with this team you have right now, you are playing, well, worse than you did in 22-23 season. Because even if you compare this team we have right now to the team we had in 22-23 season, let's be real, to a degree, certain extent, certain aspects and areas and all this stuff, we have much better team right now. You want to tell me that playing this 22-23 style football by tweaking a tiny bit the defense and some minor adjustments with having 10 times better defenders right now, because if you compare injured Ben White to Yuri Timba or Cedric Soares, and you compare Hincapie, even Calafiori to a degree, and Miles Lewis-Skelly to a degree, who is not even a left back, to players like Zinchenko and these men, we will not hold out. Yes, we don't have the ring general in the midfield, aka Thomas Partey. That is a bigger loss than, to be honest, anything at the end of the day, because Zubimendi, there is no chance in hell he's an improvement on Thomas Partey. But we have Declan Rice right now. We have better at striker. We have the same wingers, ironically enough. We have the same wingers, the same number 10 we had 4 years ago. Like, that is, again, a bit of a mystery how that has happened. There are no refreshments, but it is what it is, right? At the same time, we have a better team right now. It is made for attacking. So why the hell are we parking the bus every single game? It's like with Mikel Arteta, he has this not Arsenal big club mentality, but a small club underdog mentality. Because many times when you watch Arsenal play, we don't impose our will. We basically adjust ourselves to fit the style the other team wants to play. We feels like we have no idea how to play as the number one team, as the favorites, as the number one contender team. We somehow play from the second fiddle type of role, where we kind of, in our heads, somehow make the other team the favorites, and we just go from there. I realize if we were like Brighton, if we were like Fulham, or someone like that, we played as the secondary role, because those teams are not favorites about 70% of the season against teams. Okay, cool. But we are Arsenal. We are going for the league, for Champions League. We used to go for FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and we still play as the, well, not favorites, even though we should be the favorites. No matter how you look at it, we should be up there, at least on paper, we should be the favorites. And that just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever if you look at it. So this game against Sporting Lisbon, for me, is a massive problem. Because the way Sporting Lisbon play is ideal to absolutely annihilate Arsenal. They play the style, the system, the ideas, the tactics that absolutely Arsenal hate to defend against, to play up against, and it could definitely cause Arsenal some massive damage. And looking at our makeshift team right now, which has been run into the ground, where even our backups need backups at this stage, I am very worried that tomorrow it could be a massive stinkfest, because Arteta will want to go away at least with a draw. I think he will want to get away at least with a draw. If he gets lucky, a win at the end of the day. That's at least how I see it. Right? He is not going to be the one who's going to just push for the win like we did last year when we beat them 5-1. It's going to be more in lines what we saw against Sporting Lisbon when we played them in Europa League, when we played Porto in Champions League, where they imposed their will upon us, where Porto should have been about 3-4 nothing up at halftime, where Lisbon Sporting 4 years ago, should have been about 2-3 nothing up at halftime. The game ended in a draw, and only because as well, we lucked out with an own goal and some lucky bounce. That game we had no business in winning. And so it is what it is. I'm very, very, for lack of a better word, cautious about tomorrow's fixture. 100%. Big up BBK, big up Taron. Hope you're doing well. Elite stream today as well, people. If you haven't already, go subscribe to BBK Sports. Yeah, tomorrow it could be very, very ugly. Big up LT Kings. Big up. I haven't watched Sporting. Have they changed from when we beat them 5-1? Yes, they have. They have. The issue is Arsenal have changed more. Sporting have changed for the best. Sporting Lisbon this season, as we talked about in the early beginning of the stream, Sporting Lisbon this season in Portuguese league has lost only one game. One game which they lost in August. That was against Porto, 2-1, which, well, are on top of the table. 5 points clear right now, if I'm not mistaken. If Sporting win their game in hand, it's 2 points. And also, Sporting Lisbon, even in Champions League at home this season, have beaten Marseille, have beaten PSG, have beaten Bodo Glimt, obviously, 5-0, and have beaten multiple teams at home. They pretty much don't lose at all. The only loss they have suffered at home this season is against Porto. And that was, about 8 months ago, which definitely doesn't bode well for Arsenal, especially given that Arsenal, away from home, struggle like crazy. Not to mention the fact that in cup competitions, for example, in FA Cup, Arsenal haven't beaten a single Premier League side. We had Mansfield, we had, even in Carabao Cup, to be honest, in Carabao Cup as well, we beat Chelsea on the way and Brighton, right? But overall, most of the teams we played were Championship, League 2, League 1 teams. And that's about it. In FA Cup, we haven't beaten a single Premier League side since Arteta has won the FA Cup 6 years ago. Big up, why not? Big up, why not? Long, long, long time, my friend. I'm doing well. Definitely doing well, my guy. Doing well. Do you think Gyökeres can do something? Well, Gyökeres alone? No. Because if there is a team that knows Gyökeres better than anyone else, it is Sporting Lisbon. Yes, Sporting Lisbon, I think they're gonna miss Hjulmand, or whatever, however you pronounce it, because he has suspension. He's missing the first leg. At the same time, one player missing is not a big deal. Luis Suarez is gonna play. He's gonna be a handful. Trincao is gonna be absolutely a handful, to say the least. Not even to mention Pedro Gonçalves, Peto. He's going to be running rigid over us. He's going to be running wild all over us. I fully expect a very rough and physical game. It's going to be a stinkfest, bigger chances than not, because Arsenal will want to create a stinkfest in hopes that we get a draw, best case, or maybe a win if we can nick it. But I think we're going to go for a draw. So at home, we can do the business. But I'm not even sure that we'll get to that at the end of the day. My 11 for tomorrow: Raya, Mosquera, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Rice, Norgard, Madueke, Dauman, Trossard, Gyökeres. So who is playing in the 10? Trossard for you? Trossard is playing in the 10 for you. That for me. The cannibal Luis Suarez. No, different Luis Suarez. It's a Colombian Luis Suarez. He used to play for Almeria. Now he plays for Sporting Lisbon. And to be honest, Luis Suarez, right? If you're not familiar with his game, you have missed quite a bit. Because if you look at this guy, let me show you. I'm going to show you this because this is a must-see. Luis Suarez, he's the replacement, by the way, for Gyökeres for Sporting Lisbon. This, Luis Suarez, Sporting Lisbon, right? New arrival, blah, 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 blah. They signed him from UD Almeria for 23 million euros, right? This year in Champions League, he has 10 games, 5 goals, 2 assists, right? You look at Portuguese Cup, 5 games, 3 goals, 1 game, Allianz Cup. These are his Portuguese League stats. Portuguese League stats, 25 games, 24 goals, 5 assists. He starts pretty much every single game and almost plays full 90 every single game. He gets a point per game. He is on fire. He's carrying them as well to a very high degree. It's very, very worrying because this guy is an absolute madman. I used to love watching him play for Almeria, and I also for Sporting Lisbon. He is very, very good. If we look at other Sporting Lisbon players like Francisco Trincao, they signed from Barcelona 3 years ago for 18 million. In Champions League, 9 games, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points in 9 games. In Portuguese League, 27 games, 6 goals, 12 assists, as well. Starts almost every single game. They have absolutely fantastic attackers. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very worried that Arsenal are going to screw this up. Big up, Ange. Big up, Aussie Ange. I think Arsenal will win tomorrow, but be prepared for a draw on the weekend. I'm genuinely just... I don't know what to expect. It's very hard for me to predict anything at the moment based on Arsenal's recent form. With the starting 11 as unpredictable as the weather to a degree at this stage, and the way we are playing football, looking at the teams that they have figured us out to the maximum extent, that half of the teams we're going to face till the end of the season are playing a style that doesn't suit Arsenal at all. Other half of the teams are fighting for Champions League, Europa League, or are fighting for not to get relegated. I absolutely have no trust in this Arsenal team. I cannot say absolutely no trust, but definitely the trust is hanging by a thread that Arsenal are going to get it over the line this season. Max Dauman in the 10. I see. Interesting. Could work. Definitely could work. Gyökeres is slightly limited. I like the player, but only as good as his service. Yeah. And we don't provide him with service pretty much at all. Look what he does for Sweden. At Sweden, he gets service, and Sweden has, well, let's be real, at least looking on paper, much worse players than Arsenal do. Yet Graham Potter is doing a fantastic job there. They made them qualify for the World Cup. I'm worried about putting Dauman in. He's by far been our best player. But do you think he can handle the physicality? He can. To be honest, with Sporting Lisbon is the fact that they play football at home. They get physical with you, yes, but they play football at home. But a tiny bit, if you have technical, agile players with good skills, with good first touch and some technical ability on their own, they will feel like fish in the war against them. And Max Dauman has proven that he can do that. So playing Max Dauman could actually be a massive advantage, in my opinion, for Arsenal. The issue with this is, though, do I think he is ready to play every single game right now till the end of the season? No, I don't. Do I think Arteta will ruin him by doing that? Yes, I do. And again, Arsenal are in a position where our sole season is relying now on a 16-year-old. How the fuck, after 1 billion spent and 7 years almost into process, we are down to this? Make that make sense. But looking at Odegaard and Havertz and Madueke, I'm not gonna lie, our choices are very limited, to say the least. Big up, Fusion is not jazz. Good evening from Lisbon. Big up to you. You're going to the game. You're actually going to the game, right? Big up to you. Big up, Gunnar SC. Big up. Good evening. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I agree. Just hope he doesn't get hurt. Exactly. That is the biggest thing. Arteta has been figured out. He needs to change it. Now or no trophies is coming. The thing is, it might be too late even for changes. Even though you would think that if Arsenal change the style, let the shackles off, play attacking football, and just catch teams now out by surprise, because if Arsenal would now start playing open and attacking football, it would definitely catch teams by surprise. at least in the beginning, because nobody would expect that from Arsenal based on how we have played for the last year and a half. We definitely could catch them teams by surprise, blitz them, and get the job done very early. The thing is, do I think Arteta is going to change? No, I don't. Is the Arteta a very stubborn man? Yes, he is. And Arteta wants to win his way or no way at all at the end of the day. So I don't believe Arsenal and Arteta are going to change. I think Arteta has gone a little entitled. He got in 4 competitions and crashed out of 2. He's just been spoiled and doesn't know what to do. Yeah. And the nuts part is now his whole career at Arsenal as well, by the way, not just the season, his career at Arsenal as the manager is at the moment, to a degree, hanging on by a thread, even though we're 9 points clear, right? And that could basically put us into one or the other side of the spectrum. On one side, as we just talked, he's going to let the shackles off. We're going to start playing open attacking football, and he's going to blitz teams, which is, I would say, 0.5% of the chance. Other side of the spectrum, 99.5% of the chance, looking at the injuries, looking at the shit show, looking at the fact that we cannot score, he will want to double down defensively, just so he has more chances to get some points, maybe a nick a set piece goal or something like that. Which means we could even see bigger stinkfests that we have seen before. And that, for me, is one of the biggest worries I have at the moment, to say the least. I cringe whenever I hear how much Arteta has spent, but at least we didn't end up like Chelsea this season. Well, Chelsea's issue is the fact that, yes, they have spent a lot. Yes, they have issues. The thing is, they have bought a bunch of inexperienced players, which basically for them is a very big liability because the inexperience is costing them at the end of the day. They are very hit and miss. They're hot and cold. You never know what you're going to get when certain players come on. They bought youth, massive amounts for the future and for the profits in near future, not actually experience for winning right now. And that is the case, and I think that is one of the biggest reasons why Chelsea are where Chelsea are right now. I hear some Arsenal fans saying, why are you sad? We are 9 points clear. And I just replied, don't you watch us play? Exactly. That is the biggest thing. We are 9 points clear. On paper, it sounds fabulous, doesn't it? 9 points clear, 7 games to go. Arsenal can do it. We need to win 5 out of 7 games, right? Arsenal need to win 5 out of 7 games in Premier League, which on paper sounds, well, doable. On paper, it sounds very, 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 very doable if we are looking from that perspective, right? At the same time, if you look at this, where is it? Arsenal's schedule, right? If we look at Arsenal's schedule, we have to play Bournemouth after Sporting Lisbon. Bournemouth are fighting for Conference League / Europa League, right? So it's going to be a hell of a game, and we struggle against them. Then we have Man City. They are fighting for the title. And they will want to get one over us. So again, it's going to be a very rough game, and we don't do well at Etihad. Then we have Newcastle at home. They are fighting for Conference League / Europa League. So it's not going to be walk in the park. Let's be real. Fulham, by the way. Fulham are sitting 9th in the table, 4 points behind Conference League, 5 points behind Europa League. They're also fighting for Europe. West Ham are fighting not to get relegated, by the way. Then you look at Burnley. Yes, Burnley are at the bottom of the table. They have been relegated pretty much. Let's be real. They are 10 points behind Spurs with 8 games to go. At the same time, they have nothing to lose. They can play openly with no stress, no nothing. And then, of course, you have Crystal Palace, which is the last game week for Arsenal. Crystal Palace are sitting 14th. They are a London-based team, which means they will do everything possible to stop us from winning anything. Which at the end of the day, at the moment, looking at the schedule, every single game, every single team have something to fight for. They have something to fight for. The pressure is going to mount. it's going to get even more hectic, more toxic, more grinding, more pressure, more expectations, and everything. Not to mention, we have City on the other side with game in hand. If they win that game in hand against Palace, which I expect them to do, 6-point gap. If they beat us at the Etihad, which I also expect them to do, by the way, based on the recent performances, it's a 3-point gap. And after that, let's be real, it is anybody's game. After that, it is anybody's game. And looking at the goal difference, Arsenal have +7 at the moment. But if Arsenal start to drop points and City keep on winning, that goal difference, 7-point goal difference between Arsenal and City, can be erased like that within 2 game weeks, 3 max. Let's be real. Bigger stinkfest. How it is possible. Let's be real. It is possible. If some of our main guys are out, he will have to double down defensively to ensure that the defense holds up, because that is the only thing Arteta has left at the end of the day. This team, by design, has been built to park the bus, defense holds out, and we nick a goal on a set piece, on a corner, own goal, lucky bounce, something like that. This team has not been built tactically to attack, unfortunately. And if we double down defensively, it means the attackers will have to defend even more, which, again, we will sacrifice our attack even more for that regard. Yep, away section, €250. Not bad, not bad. Big up to you. Enjoyed the football. Hopefully Arsenal, well, at least can do something, but bloody hell, I'm not gonna lie. No, bloody hell. I feel like since we've lost Eze, I've realized how much we've depended on him. I hope he recovers quick. Yeah, Eze is one of those players that hit very good form the second part of the season. He came alive. It felt like also the players figured stuff out, how to play with him and around him. And then he got injured at the least opportunistic time for Arsenal, of course. He also came alive for Crystal Palace towards the second part of the season, which is not coincidental. Plus, he was playing for the World Cup spot, so there were lots of circumstances playing into this factor, no matter how you look at it, right? At the same time, it is actually kind of insane if you look at it. So we'll see. We're going to see. Would you take a stinky win tomorrow? Yes, I would, because that is the only way we can do anything. I would take a stinky win. We're going to get, obviously, to the predictions in about 15 minutes, something like that. We're going to discuss that. But at the end of the day, I would take a win. But I'm not too sure we can pull that rabbit out of our hats like that. I'm not going to lie. I'm very worried. And the faith in my team is very, 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 very small at the moment. Very small, to say the least. Very small. I'm not going to lie. Anyhow, let's do the starting 11. Let's do the starting 11 for tomorrow. I don't feel trust in Arteta even if we draw. Same. Because we in general struggle against Portuguese teams. Let's be real. We struggle against Porto. We're 39, like genuinely a 50-year-old, what it felt like. Pepe pocketed our whole attack. We just got through by sheer luck. Year before that, against Sporting Lisbon, well, we went out on penalties. That was fun, wasn't it? We lucked out a draw in Lisbon. Then we got lobbed at home on the halfway line. And that was all she wrote at the end of the day. And even our big team, our invincible team, and Thierry Henry and all these guys, our big guys, our actual proper legends of the club, it wasn't an easy game against Porto at the time. Obviously, different Porto, let's be real, and everything, but it also wasn't easy. It was hell on earth, no matter how you look at it. So I definitely I expect a very rough game. It's going to be a stinkfest. It's going to be a rough one. It's going to be a tough one. Arsenal will have to, if they want to win, they will have to dig deep. They will have to dig deeper than they have ever dug before. And looking at how we folded against Southampton, what happened against Man City, what we have seen against Aston Villa, Sunderland, Man United at home and everything, I just don't think these players have it in them anymore. Because they have been run down, they're pretty much every single one are running on fumes in the red zone or are already injured. And that is one of the biggest issues here, because if you look at Man City, for example, for the league, pretty much every single player is rested, rotated. The team for City, the City team doesn't fall off if they switch around certain players. If Semenyo starts, if Nico Gonzalez starts instead of Rodri, if Rodri starts and Nico Gonzalez holds the bench, they don't lose much or anything at all, to be honest. Every single player has its advantage, pros and his cons, and everyone just balance each other out. With Arsenal, I think we have again shot our load too early. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And Arsenal have wasted about 98% of their energy for the first 3 quarters of the race. Meanwhile, Man City have basically split it and shared it equally. So at the end of the race, they have extra energy to do the final sprint, the spurt, the last energy, right, run, the adrenaline rush they can put on it. And after winning the Carabao Cup, they definitely have on it. They are in it. And that, for me, is one of the biggest issues here. Anyways, starting 11 for tomorrow's game. What are we saying, people? Starting 11 for tomorrow's game. Arsenal versus Sporting Lisbon. Raya in goal. That goes without saying. If I see Kepa in goal, I will not watch the game. Already putting that out there. Ben White at right back. No matter how you look at it, Ben White is going to start at right back. Even though he made a massive mistake against Southampton, it cost us the game and everything. He got cooked multiple times. A Brazilian winger who plays for Southampton is better than any left winger Arsenal have at the moment. That makes sense. And everything, although we make almost every single opponent look like they are prime Barcelona against us. So that's another bit of a different story. But hey, it is what it is. Big up Eros. Mikel music in the building. Big up Eros. Smash the likes, people, and subscribe if you have not already. The back line is going to be, for me, the back line is going to be Saliba and Gabriel. I have to put in Gabriel, and I'm going to put him in just because he was pictured in the training. If he's not available, Mosquera is going to play. Like, that goes without saying, so it is what it is. The left back position is one of the ones where I'm very worried about. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually very, very worried about our left wing position. I'm very worried about our left wing position. Left back position, sorry. Not left wing, also left wing, but left back position, because at the moment, it's going to be very, very, very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting because we have 2 options at the end of the day. It is either it's either Calafiori or it is Miles Lewis Skelly. Now, the thing about this is, no matter how you look at it, Sporting Lisbon's right wings are gonna be a rough one. 100%. It could be Trincojo drifts in there. Pedro Gonçalves just going to play on the left. He's going to be against Ben White, which already is worrying me. Trincojo is going to play through the middle, left and right. He's a bit of a free roam type of role. Whether it's going to be Luis Guilherme or I don't even know. Most likely it's going to be Luis Guilherme is injured. Never mind. Souleymane Faye maybe is going to play right wing or somebody like that. But overall, it's not going to be an easy day. We have to pick between Calafiori and Miles Lewis Skelly. And they both are liabilities defensively. Skelly should be playing the midfield. That just goes without saying. I don't want to see Skelly as a left back. Skelly's position is midfield for me, and he should be playing there. But I guess it is what it is. Arteta says it otherwise, so what can we do, right? But I guess we will have to go with the cauliflower. We have to go with the Italian stallion, with the pizza man, with the spaghetti noodle at the left back position. Unfortunately, that most likely is going to be the case. I rather see Mosquera as a right back. I fully understand that. But at this stage, Ben White has to play. For me personally, Ben White has to play. He has been called up for England. He is in a better form than Mosquera. Mosquera is more of a center back than anything. Ben White is more used to playing as a right back. And with no Timber, I think he is the best option. Even though Ben White gets done over easily, he acts as a bad man, but actually he looks like a soft marshmallow on the pitch. At the same time, hey, I guess it is what it is. Moving on to the midfield, which arguably for me is the most interesting part of the team at the moment. If you ask me, I would play something like this. Kind of have to, don't I? We have no options. It's either Havertz or Odegaard in the 10. And unfortunately, that is going to be the case. Genuinely. That's going to be the case. Yeah. Ben White, bad boy marshmallow at the end of the day. He acts as a bad man. He has a very the dark arts bone in him. You can see that on the pitch many times. At the same time, nah, he's too soft as well. I think Norgard and Rice I would love to see in the midfield. 100%, I would love to see Norgard and Rice in the midfield. I think that could be actually very good on one that cements the back line and the other one that makes the running. It solely depends how good is actually I genuinely lost my train of thought. Kid you not, I lost my train of thought here. Lost my train of thought. I'm very sorry about that. We say in England, I'll bark but no bite. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. I'll smooth no trousers. To be honest, not the worst case scenario. Better to be clean cut shaven down there than to actually be in a Brazilian rainforest and all this stuff. But yeah, Norgard and Rice, I want somebody who stays back and matches the physicality. And I want somebody who can do the running. Obviously, it strictly depends how good is the Declan Rice's fitness and how good form he is after the knock, injury, whatever he's carrying for quite a while, as Thomas Tuchel said. And it's also very evident, even when he plays for Arsenal, that he plays with something. He's not the same as he used to be. But at the end of the day, yeah, and number 10, it kind of has to be Odegaard. Unfortunately, it has to be Odegaard because Eze is not there. I don't want to see Havertz. And Odegaard, well, I don't know which is the best of the two evils at the end of the day. Best of two evils. Odegaard or Havertz? Which one is the best one? Odegaard, as we have no options, Havertz, etc. Exactly. Havertz is the only option. We could play Max Dauman there, but to play Max Dauman in that position, I think it's not something we would want to see. For me, Max Dauman, best if he starts, then he has to start on the right, based on how Odegaard tried to throw Max Dauman under the bus and everything. When we conceded the first goal against Southampton with the back heel pass, he waved his arms around like he was trying to take off as a pigeon or something. Yeah, but it is what it is. It genuinely is what it is. Obviously, Gyökeres goes up top. That just goes without saying. Now, the other thing is, who are going to be the wingers? Yeah, from past performances, definitely Havertz. Yeah, from past performances. But overall, with one, you get something, you lose something. With the other one, you get something, you lose something. None of them are brilliant. None of them are going to be the ones who are going to take the game by the scruff of their necks and carry us over the line. So Odegaard, in this instance, how many chances Odegaard will get as well is the big question, to be honest. Exactly. That is the thing. Now the question is, who is going to play right wing and who is going to play the left wing? Because against the team like Sporting Lisbon, I would be very inclined to try Trossard, but he has just come back from injury, so he is not in a good form. And that for me is the big one. Would Madueke central cam work? He runs forward, so maybe he'll just run at the goal. I don't think so. I don't. To be a central cam, you actually need somewhat decent passing, and we have seen that Madueke in final third lacks that ability. Even though Odegaard has been, well, for lack of a better word, no much better, right? But at least Odegaard has some sort of ability to make a pass. Yes, he overholds possession. He is spinning around like a fidget spinner. He flicks his hair and uses his snot as hair gel and all this stuff. It is what it is. But Odegaard at least has somewhat of a pass in him compared to Madueke, if we look at the 10 spot. So we'll see. Now, the thing is, right wing, left wing, those two positions are just have no idea what to do. Genuinely have zero idea who to play, how to play, and why to play. And this is the biggest issue, right? Obviously, Trossard has just come back from injury, pretty much. So I would not actually want to risk him if I look from that point of view. Let ease him into because he needs to be eased in. Don't want him get injured instantly and we are stuck with Martinelli for full 90 till the end of the season, right? At the same time, even Trossard, who has just come back from injury, let's be real, he cannot do much worse than Martinelli is doing for us. Like, go figure. He cannot do much worse than Martinelli is doing for us right now. So at the end of the day, kind of have to pick, again, just like with Odegaard and Havertz, the least worrying, the best of both evils. Like, again, it feels that way. And it's very annoying that it has come down to this, that after $1 billion spent, we are sitting here, we are talking about players, we are talking about positions, players to select, pick for the game, and we are talking about picking a player, basically one of the two evils. You have to choose between two evils, and you basically sit here and think over the course of about 70 minutes, who is going to damage you the least? Like, it's actually insane, genuinely. Sporting Lisbon, 8 p.m. Arsenal tomorrow live. Oh, interesting. I don't have Amazon Prime, but I will watch the game. Like, I have a provider. I pay subscription, 16 euros a month to get about 16 different football leagues across the world and everything to watch. Pretty much every single sports event, almost, that the big ones that are happening. Almost every single one. Martinelli has good Champions League form and Sporting play physically and leave space behind their wingbacks. So I would personally choose Martinelli. Same. Exactly. And that for me is the biggest point. Martinelli, his best games are in Champions League. Wish he could do that in Premier League, but that's a different story. The thing is, though, if Sporting Lisbon are going to play the same way or similar how City played against us, similarly how, for example, Bournemouth played against us, Aston Villa and everyone, Martinelli is going to get squat, right? So I guess it has to be Martinelli no matter how you look at it. Just because he has a good record in Champions League, it feels like Champions League is more suited for him, right? And by the way, have you noticed that we've been waffling about the left wing number 10 position for about 5 to 10 minutes and we still don't have a right wing? Right wing, Madueke or Max Dauman? Like, I don't even know. If I had to pick, I would pick Max Dauman, right? I would definitely pick Max Dauman. That would be my choice because it has been better than any single attacker we have in the team, right? Any single winger, forward we have in the team. At the same time, it might be too early for him because, again, Arsenal are in this position after over $1 billion, to be honest, spend that We are relying on a 16-year-old to carry our attack. And what else can I say? Knowing Arteta, he would play Jesus there. There's a possibility. There definitely is a possibility. Another player we need to get rid of ASAP. But for lack of a better, I guess that would be the team. Obviously, if it was up to me, I would start Max Dauman. But for me, the midfield, we need to start Norgard and Declan Rice together. In my opinion, we need to start Norgard and Declan Rice together. We need someone who's gonna be like a 6 with a decent passing, who's gonna hold down the fort and distribute the ball to a degree, which in my opinion Norgard could do and disrupt the play. And then Declan Rice next to him, who is a runner, who also is a bully, who can disrupt the play and who can try at least and carry the ball forwards. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing that. Number 10, it is what it is. Odegaard is going to be in there no matter how you look at it, unless Arteta decides to play Havertz and Odegaard holds the bench. But if that is the case, that Havertz starts and Odegaard holds the bench in one of the most important games of our season so far, it will tell you everything you need to know what Mikel Arteta thinks about his so-called captain. Like, it's an impossible scenario, an impossible situation where it definitely could come back and haunt us. Let's just say it as it is. Definitely could back and haunt us big time. Right? But anyways, predictions. Predictions for the game, people. What are your predictions, by the way? What are your predictions for the Arsenal versus Sporting Lisbon Champions League tomorrow? Let me know your thoughts, and afterwards I'm gonna tell you mine, because I want to see what you think first, and then I'm gonna share my prediction, because at the moment I'm kind of caught in between two minds, and I'm just going through it over in my head, and I will pick one in about a minute or so. So people, let me know. Genuinely, let me know, people. What do you think? How it could go? Will Arsenal win? Will Sporting Lisbon win? Will it be a draw? Just let me know in the comments, people. Let me know. At the moment, I'm very, as I said, on the fence with two results. Hopefully, one of them is a good one. Hopefully, right? But you never know. You never know. I'm feeling a boring 0-0 where Arteta plays 11 at the back. And that, for me, is the thing. That could be the blueprint of how we're going to play in Premier League as well. That, for me, is the biggest worry. Because if somebody goes down for a longer period of time, especially defensively, with Timber already being out and Hinkapie being out, he will double down defensively, and it's going to be even bigger stinkfest than have people imagined. You're going 0-0. Big up DG2. Hope you're doing well today, brother. Hope everything's fine with you. We are just doing the Champions League predictions for Lisbon Sporting versus Arsenal. And if you ask me, I really don't want to say this because people are gonna get on my case. People are gonna get on my case big time if I say this. I'm good, thanks. Need to play Rice 6, Zubier, Dom, and 10. What about this? I know there is no Max Dauman in the 10, as you wish, but Norgard in the 6 and Declan Rice in the 8. What about that? For me, I don't know, the physicality that Sporting Lisbon are going to try and impose on us, we need some physicality in there. And the Zubimendi in the 8 or the 6 even, for me personally, just doesn't compute fully because Zubimendi is not quick. He cannot run a lot, which means in the 8, he's not going to work. And he's not physical enough to be an 8 or a 6, to be honest. He's somewhere in between. And unfortunately, it really bothers me. Yeah, I know Odegaard is finished, but you just know that he's going to play. You genuinely just know that he is going to play. Odegaard is as fragile as a fart in the wind. We all know that, physically and even injury-wise recently. But at the end of the day, he is going to play because he more Havertz. Arteta is gonna pick one of his boys for the 10, unfortunately. That because in ideal scenario, I would not mind. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? In ideal scenario, I would not mind seeing something like this. In an ideal scenario, because Timber is out, Skelly is not going to play in the midfield. Let's be real. So I would not mind having Norgard and Rice in the double pivot or something like that. Dauman in the 10, Madueke, Martinelli, Gyökeres. I would not mind something like that as well. Obviously, you're going to see with time, but yeah. Anyways, the predictions. Yeah, should have been Ranieri. It definitely should have been Ranieri. The fact that Mikel Arteta open-mindedly loaned out Ethan Ranieri after Mikel Merino got injured is just a travesty and embarrassment on its own, to say the least. Bigger Tibbs, I'm not rich, by the way. I think you are in the wrong chat. I'm not rich. He bought the Premier League again. I don't think he'll be sacked when he must. He must. Exactly. Martinelli does well in Champions League. That is the one competition where, let's just say, so far, knock on wood and all this stuff, he hasn't let us down. Let's just say it as it is. I'm very worried. I'm very worried that this could be the game where everything falls apart. Against Sporting Lisbon, the way they played, how they're going to try to clamp him up defensively, and how they're going to push forward, impose their how they play at home on us, it's definitely going to be a very rough one. Yeah, Ethan Lown is a disgrace. 100%. 100%. I was watching Rich's stream on playback just before. I see. All good. Don't worry, Tibbs. Don't worry, Terry. For me personally, if he somehow balls Premier League, he must be sacked. There are no other way of ins, what's, buts about it. Josh Kroenke already looked pissed off when we lost the Carabao Cup. On top of all that, by the way, to a degree, I want him gone if he wins the Premier League as well. Because next season, it's going to get 10 times worse. Because there will be pressure to repeat it. Players already are destroyed. After World Cup, it's going to get even worse. And if you think Liverpool are poor this season, we could be even 10 times worse. I think if we win the league and he stays, next season, we're going to pull a Liverpool, what Liverpool are doing this season. He's let us down West Forest. We're talking about Champions League, Martinelli specifically. As a Porto fan, Sporting has been disappointing this season. I think they're third, but I'm not... Sporting Lisbon are second in the league. They are 5 points behind Porto with a game in hand. Sporting Lisbon have lost only one game this whole season in Portuguese league, and that was against Ulot, against Porto, in August. So it's been 8 months since they have lost a game in Portuguese league. And even in Champions League at home in Champions League, they have been fantastic. They beat Marseille, they beat Bodo Glimt, they beat PSG, by the way, 2-1 as well. So it's going to be a very rough one for Arsenal tomorrow. The injuries will be worse next season. Yeah. We need a new manager, new voice, new medical team with many sets of spines and bollocks. Yeah, we need lots of ones with massive cojones. I think they can cause an upset if Arsenal aren't switched on. They will. They will. Sporting Lisbon have beaten PSG already this season at home. They annihilated I just said this, right? I just got a deja vu, to be honest. They annihilated Bodo Glimt 5-0. And they beat Marseille. And what else was there? Wait, my bad. They beat Bodo Glimt at home. They beat Club Bruges at home. They beat PSG at home. They beat Athletic Bilbao away. They are a very formidable and tough opponent, no matter how you look at it. It's going to be a very rough one. Arteta threw the FA Cup away. Ryan Gyökeres should have started. Yeah, 100%. I didn't want to see Kepa in goal. Against Southampton, I would have even wanted to see Setford in goal, by the way. Top Gunners only live in the moment. They don't see their major issues next season, these players. Yeah, they have goldfish memories. They forget what happened last season. They just have some flashes, and they don't think ahead what's going to happen next season. I knew injuries would be bad this season, but thought rotation would be better. I was wrong. Well, never put your money on Mikel Arteta changing, because he is very stubborn, smug prick, big up to Rich, as he says it. And Arteta wants to win his way. Arteta way or no way at all. And unfortunately, we are paying the ultimate price so far for this for 6 years straight. So I guess it is what it is. Anyways, the predictions. As I said, I'm kind of caught in between two minds. Between Arsenal losing 3-1 and Arsenal winning 2-1. I don't know which side I am on. I'm genuinely on the fence. And I'm a person who never, ever, ever predicts an Arsenal loss, because I cannot do this open-heartedly as an Arsenal fan, being for 24 years, 25 almost. I genuinely cannot do that. It's just not in me. Me as a player myself, I never can predict a loss, because for me personally, if you even think about losing a game before you have played the game, you already mentally have lost the battle. That was my mindset when I was playing. We've lost 5 for our last 8 Champions League quarterfinal ties. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Goldfish kind of lob goobers have the memory of a... Yeah, top goobers, top goofers, top spooners. Pick your poison, how you want to name them. 100%. But yeah, people, I think I'm going to wrap this up. If you haven't already, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. No stream tomorrow, but I will be at 8:30 p.m. on Rashid's channel for the preview show. I'm going to be on Rashid's channel. I'm going to redirect you to Jez's stream. Enjoy it there, Latvian Ray there, and see you soon. Peace.